Tim is cool. Tommy is cool. This podcast is very, very cool. True Romance coming up next.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevenay. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time, and today that is myself. Knocking off the only thing I haven't seen in the Tarantino filmography, I'm pretty sure, unless he's got some...
Oh, that's it?
I feel like maybe that first movie, if there's like clips of it, like that one from like 1984 or whatever it was.
That's lost media, so
yeah, that's
count.
not... Yeah.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
This is... Yeah, unless there's other scripts I'm like unaware of, but I'm pretty sure this is completing my Tarantino trifecta. This is
more than a trifecta. It's for that he has.
Well, trifecta fits, Steve. We're joined by Upstairs Steve. You know that already. It's in the title.
Hey, what up? Yeah, I know you guys like that intro because Tommy didn't do it. How you doing, everybody? I missed you. Good to see you.
Yeah, we missed you guys too. It's been a little bit of a hiatus for us. Just the end of just a couple weeks, but we are back now. We're kicking off. What is this? Our 5th season now?
Yeah, season 5.
Wow.
And for those who are like actual avid listeners, you would know that we've been talking about doing this movie for a very, very long time.
Yes, True Romance has been in the zeitgeist of this podcast for a long, long time. It just never, the cards just never aligned. Like other movies just came up, but I feel like the nice thing about like when you kick off a new season, just starting the new year off, it's like let's just like we don't need to do some anniversary thing of some movies we haven't seen to try to get some attention. Just like let's pick a big boy, let's take out a big gun here, let's start firing.
Yeah, let's start a fire. And this feels like a full circle thing of Upstairs Steve because the first movie we ever had Upstairs Steve on for was another Tarantino script, From Dusk Till Dawn. So here we go back. Actually, that's not to say that this is my last episode, people. So don't worry, I'll be back. Yeah. But yes, it completes the cycle of movies that we said that we should have done. Big Tarantino fan here. I was very surprised that Timmy has never seen it.
It's just a movie that evaded me. Like I never had the Blu-ray or the DVD, and I feel like it's a movie that was. Maybe it's because I'm not a Prime. Like I'm not like Prime isn't my primary like streaming service. If that makes sense, right? Like if I'm going through the streamers, like Prime is not the first one that I click on. I feel like this is a movie that would only exist on free streaming on Prime. But
Prime is like Prime is chock full of just like 90s forgotten action movies that you like, don't remember. They make you pay for it though. Well, it's still awesome though.
Yeah, you're paying for Prime for the delivery. You're not really like you get this bundled in. And also, I'm going to go on my tangent here on Prime because now Prime has advertisements, and the Prime advertisement system is just horrendous. First of all, Amazon, you have like $10 trillion. Maybe don't invest $1 billion into the Ring of Powers, which is just going to be a catastrophic failure no matter what you did with it. You just took like the Silmarillion is just like very small stories and like context. It's just for lore nerds. That's all it is. And then you try to make this TV show. Like maybe don't invest $1 billion and then like 300 million into investment and then be like, we got to recoup this money somehow. And this is a thing for all streamers, by the way. Just put 10 minutes of commercials when I hit the start button. Like if that's what you want to do, if that's what you need to calculate it, just do it at the start, especially with movies.
Yeah, get out of the way.
I don't need 3 ad breaks in my movie. I'm sorry. Like, talk about a ruiner. And then the problem is all this shit is on 6 different subscription services. So if I want to like watch the movies without ads, it ends up being like $200 a month to get all of these services without fucking ads on them. And you know what? Listen, this is just me doing I've been on a little bit of a Seinfeld tear recently. It's it's a little George Costanza of me. Yeah, I completely understand that. Listen, it's just
tell me I had sex with her wife.
Oh yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife. His wife's been in a coma for 6 months.
But you know what else too that I actually don't really appreciate, at least within
Amazon's advertisements is that now it's not just an advertisement; they're trying to sell you on shit. You ever notice that?
Well,
In
that's
the
what
f-
Steve, I do have to correct you here. That is what an advertisement is, and at its core is trying to sell you something. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Where it's like there's a link for you to buy the product on Amazon.
like, shut up!
It's like, yeah, you want to buy it, don't
They're
you?
literally putting the consumer cock right in your face. You know, not for anything. All right, like I like to be like wine and dined a little bit with my ad.
In
I want to
69, they
go
get it.
out exactly. I want to go out. I want to find my product on my own. I don't want you to be like, yeah, it's right here. Yeah, all right. I hear you. Okay.
The advertisements that go on like traditional streaming services, cable, like because it's like the traditional cable commercials have just come onto streamers now. It's the same kind of like buy Bounty like dish soap. Like I'm never like I am way more inclined by an Instagram advertisement than I ever am by an
Yeah,
advertisement that's like on a streaming service.
because your Instagram advertisement it gets to know you. It knows
Yeah,
the
yeah.
real you. Who's listening to your conversations? Instagram.
Well, it becomes the point where, like, I don't know, like, I clicked on, like, an ad for NHL 26, and next thing I know, all my fucking ads for the next 2 weeks are just that constantly no matter where I go, to a point that it just, like, bugs you until, like, you're like, "Come on, you gotta buy it. Don't you want it. You're
Oh,
gonna
you're gonna
get it."
buy, and
That's
you're
why you
gonna
just
buy it
don't.
eventually.
That's why you
Yeah.
don't buy it.
So, to bring it back though with True Romance, I mean, it's great. Like, it's interesting that Tarantino has like so many movies in his early career that he just wrote. He just did the script for because it's a rarity. He's doing it again though. He's doing it again.
Yeah, The Adventures of Cliff Booth, and like he's been very adamant about his like I'm only directing 10 movies because I'm Quentin Tarantino and I'm a little brat and everybody makes their worst movies towards the end. His whole little
Yeah,
like his whole spiel.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm like, okay, then just keep churning out screenplays, man. Like you're very, very good at that. Like
Yeah.
you are
yeah.
very, very good at that.
Now,
Um,
I have another, movie that you guys might not have seen that we can prolong for the next 2 years. Are you ready? Have you guys
yeah.
seen 4 Rooms?
Mm-mm.
No, but I know the Top Gun scene.
Ooh.
I do know the Top Gun scene as well.
Okay, so, like, basically, for those of you out there that haven't, heard of it, it's essentially a movie that it has 4 different directors, and, Tim Roth plays a bellhop who services 4 different rooms, and what he finds in each room is directed by a different director. So, chaos ensues in each room, obviously, but, Quentin Tarantino has the pleasure of directing one of the rooms. Very, very funny movie. It's very Tarantino-esque throughout the entire film. If you're into these kind of movies, you would definitely dig it. So I would say that we should put that one in the repertoire.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm always down for
For
Tarantino.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
do that in a year and a half. So don't worry
But
about it.
he has that thing now where he has like a podcast and there's just more audio of him and really like his work. I think I would enjoy
it's like
getting a beer.
the more you hear him like speak.
Just like you're just like, oh, has anyone ever been more full of themselves
Yeah,
in their lives? Has is anyone? No one has ever uttered the word no to this man before and been told like a good reaction to it. He is right 100% of the time in his own brain.
it's
You
like
know,
you ever
like
hear that story that him and Paul Thomas Anderson were doing coke with Fiona Apple, and it caused her to be sober because she's like, if you're in a room with those two on coke, then you never want to do coke again.
yeah, I mean, I
Just
believe it.
straight up. Just straight up talking over and over and over again. So,
And
it's funny
everybody
this
talking over each other, like, that'll never end if you're sitting in a room with them. As much as like we like to think that we know movies, they would bury us.
Yeah, of
yeah, yeah.
course they would, because
Yeah.
they make them, they understand, they
And Tarantino's the type of guy that would just, like, be so offended if you call him out on his movie knowledge where and, if while we're on subject of True Romance, this is such, like, a insert, like, fantasy for Tarantino, this whole script where it's just like, "Oh,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the girl's gonna love the fact that you know all about movies, and she's gonna wanna hear about it all
And
the
comic
time."
books, right? Yeah.
And
you
comic
know
books.
comic books and movies in 5 minutes. She was paid to sleep with you, and then she's like, "Actually, I love you." And
Yeah.
that's that. Like, it's there is Like the
It's
op
she
I was
finds it
what
c she finds it cute that you wanna do a movie marathon of just old kung fu movies from the '70s, and she's totally into that, but you
She's
still
into
know
it.
more knowledge than her, so
because
you
you
can
know
go
because
off
you because you know,
'cause you know it.
women are really into old kung fu movies.
Yeah.
That's right up
No,
women's alleys. Dude,
that's what women want. They want
go
John
go
Woo
to go
movies.
to any of your girlfriend and be like, "Hey, this theater is doing 9 hours of kung fu movies from the '70s. You wanna go?" And see what the response is. I'm
Oh,
sure it'll
yeah.
be yes. It'll
Po
100% be yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
post your comments below on, all the times that everybody that's been broken up with after they
Yeah,
try that,
I
please.
no, there was that autobiographical sense. Also, to the point of, like, Tarantino's movie knowledge, I started reading a few years ago the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Mhm.
and I had to stop reading it because it was literally just, like it was just references to like, niche movies from the '60s and the '70s and, like, the '50s and the '40s. Like, it was just, like, a bibliography of, like, all these movies being like, "And Rick Dalton really liked this movie that he was in, and this movie that he was in," and they were all real movies, but I was just like, "Okay, we get it, dude. We understand that you know a lot about movies. We understand that's all you do."
That you've seen every Western ever, but if you've ever seen every Western ever, you really only need to see 3 of them because only 3 of them exist, right? You know, you have your, like, outlaw who's the half bad guy, half good guy who comes into town.
I disagree with that. I love a good Western.
I love a good Western too, but there's only 3 of them. Yeah, you know? Eh
But at the same time, like, Tarantino's imagining that some, like, a hot blonde like Patricia Arquette is just like, "Yes, tell me more about, like, all the specific different niche movies from the '60s." I would love that.
The only honest thing in this movie was the first scene where he's talking to this blonde girl. He's like talking about Elvis and like if I could fuck one guy, it'd be Elvis. And she was like, "Yeah, I guess I would too if he was living." And then she's like, he's like, "So tell me about you." Like this is his move. He talks about Elvis and then like, "So tell me about you," and whatever she says. And he's like, "Okay, would you like to go to a movie with me later?" She's like, "What movie?" He just throws out like 3 kung fu movies, and she's just like, "Yeah, I have no interest in that," and walks away. I was like, "That is the most autobiographical part of this entire script." I know that for a fact. I texted you guys that, like, during the credits. I was like, "That is that happened to him at some point." He had that exact conversation with a woman, and
I
she was
bet
like,
you. Yeah.
It's
"No,
like, can
I."
you imagine Tarantino, like, working at the video store being your coworker? He'd probably be one of those guys where it's just like, "This guy, shut the fuck up, I get it, you know all the movies, dude."
I know.
I'm very curious what he was like before his ego just ballooned.
I imagine it being like Clerks.
Well, no, so I think it was probably more dormant, like, it was always there, the ego, like, knowing that he could do it, but it's hard to be annoying about it if you don't have the success. Like, the only reason I would sit and talk with him and talk movies with him is because he has the success, he knows a lot about it, it would be interesting. If it's just some video store clerk, people are not gonna give you the same time of day.
Yeah, yeah. It's like one of those things like I have a commentary from Hot Fuzz on the DVD that's Edgar Wright and Tarantino. And it's a 2 hour commentary, and the two of them are just bouncing off each other so many different action movies. Like, yeah, this was from like this cop movie from the '80s, and this is from this thing from the '70s. It was very interesting to see that. But if you don't like that type of shit, you would be so fucking annoyed like very quickly. You're like, all right, dude, I get it. I get it. You know movies. So at the same point, thank you for listening to our podcast where we talk
Yeah.
about all our movie knowledge.
Having said that, we're unloading all of our
We're a
movie
movie
knowledge.
podcast with tangents, though, you know, like,
We're here for the tangents. Yeah.
we're not mentioning, like, Orion Pictures from, like, 1974 and just being like, "This Charles Bronson film
Yeah.
definitely influenced here." You know, like,
That
that's not exactly our bag. But,
that's not.
thank you for listening.
Thank you
Our
for
bag
listening.
is our bag is we haven't seen that Charles Bronson movie. What's it like?
No. So then we watch it and then we're like, all right, yeah, no, you don't need to. We watch it so that you don't have to. But what I do want everybody to do is I want everybody to go out this weekend, find a girl and tell them that if you had to fuck any guy, you'd fuck Elvis and see if she does
Yeah.
continue that conversation. And that's when it stops being autobiographical.
Okay. I'm getting this back on track here. Okay. It's been a while. There's been some big movie
It's been a
releases that have
while.
come out. Tommy, a little birdie told me you're now maybe the biggest Avatar head on the face of the planet.
Oh
Stop
yeah,
it.
totally. Totally.
No, no,
I
Tommy, you
I
didn't.
hate I hate to say it. So
Stop.
I saw Avatar: Fire and Ash over the weekend, and
Why?
I have hated the other Avatar movies. Avatar 1, that was a piece
Was
of shit. We talked
It
about
was Pocahontas, Avatar 1. Have you
yeah,
seen Pocahontas? You've seen Avatar 1. It's the same fucking movie. Why can't James Cameron go back to directing good movies and writing good movies? Better writer than director, but I'll say this. God damn it. I'm
I
sorry.
I would say the
Plowing
exact
ahead
opposite.
me.
I'd say better
I would
director
say a
than
better
writer.
dir I would say much better director than
But
writer. Like,
he's
I
directed
would
so few movies.
if anything, the direction of the Avatar films is not their problem. It is all script.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah, totally.
before Steve got very angry at me, I hated Avatar 1. I remember I fell asleep the first time I watched it, and I fell asleep when they did the re-release in 2022. So, just not for me. Too long, boring, whatever. Blue cat people. Who gives a shit? Way of Water we covered on the pod last month. I liked it a little more. I thought it had some fun moments, but still a little bit too long. This new one, I don't know if I've seen it like in Dolby in 3D, but like there's something about this. This whole movie was just felt like one long like action scene in a way where the action did not like let up. And there's some slight moments of like slowness here and there talking, but overall, first hour of this movie is like a chase movie, Fire and Ash, and second hour is like one of the characters gets captured, and the third hour just straight up warfare. And I was like, let's fucking go. And if there's anyone that knows how to direct the fuck out of an action movie, it's James Cameron. And the way that he just like cleanly goes from like the action set piece to action set piece, where you have like a scene where like a fucking one of the like whale type things in Avatar goes on top of a ship, smashes on the warship, and then flings all about over and over and over again. And just you see it, just like, all right, I got hit. It's you, James Cameron. This kind of rocks right here. So I mean, I feel like the problem I had with the other 2 Avatar movies was, like, too much lore, too much world building to a point that just bogged down the movie and just, like, made it, like, bloated runtimes. Well, this movie's long too. I don't know, something about, like, this just really connected. I think also part of it was the villains in this one. Part of them were, other Na'vi tribe that was, like, evil and, like, didn't care about, like, the Earth and Pandora or whatever. And so you had Na'vi fighting Na'vi, and that was just really cool seeing that. And, like, you have, like, Na'vis on top of those, like, pterodactyl things with assault rifles shooting at other Na'vi, and I'm like, this is cool. This fucking rocks. This is a fucking blast right here."
So
So,
so I think I agree with you because I remember seeing Way of the Water in theaters, and I remember coming away liking it more
yeah.
than I did on my rewatch. My rewatch, I was just like, "Oh my gosh." There is definitely something to the spectacle of watching that kind of movie in the movie theater. Uh, I do feel like one of the things I don't think we touched upon it on the Way of the Water episode is just like it's a visual overload, right? Like
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I think a lot of like even just watching something like True Romance, or I've been doing a Mad Men rewatch because of course I have, and like just like the stark images and the way that the frames are painted, like they're almost portrait, like even in this where it's just like you know what's going on in every inch of the frame.
Mm,
It's just a little more calming to the eyes, where I felt like when I was watching Way of the Water, like, the entire frame was so dense. It's the same issue that the prequels have, where it's just like, they just constantly shove images everywhere in the frame. Like, something has to be covering every and something has to be going on that you're just like, your brain hurts, it overloads. Did you
mm.
feel that way in Fire and Ash too?
I didn't feel like sensory overload, but I did, like, think, like, wow, like, it's insane that this is a movie that is, like, 99%, like, just green screen, and
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah,
better than
because it was.
any
So
well,
it's the
yeah,
second
but
one.
look well,
So it's
what I'm
first one.
saying is, Steve, is it looks better than fucking anything else I'm seeing out there in terms of, like you have stuff like the
Yeah.
Stranger Things finale that came out recently,
Oh,
and
ugly. Oh god.
like,
I was just
the
about to talk
thing
about that. You guys stole my
yeah, the
fucking
upside
thing.
the well,
Yeah.
you
No,
can
no,
talk
we'll
about it,
wait.
but
We'll shelf it. We'll shelf it.
Yeah.
That can be
but just
Yeah.
briefly, but, like, things like that and, like, other, like, movies you see over there very green screen heavy, it just looks so ugly and so PS2 graphicsy, and this and Avatar, it feels like you're actually in a new world where, like, I said this when we covered Way of Water. Way of Water has the best looking movie I probably ever watched on my TV. I'm not saying it's the best movie I've ever seen, but
Yeah.
in terms of fucking just, like, pure visual, like,
Oh,
appreciation.
fidelity.
It
There's
goes
all
to
these
show
films.
you the CGI budget and, like, how
It
much it, like, actually makes a difference, that, like, extra
Well, not even that, but, like, Cameron
time. Time is the
eh,
biggest thing with
time and
CGI.
Cameron is such a fucking freak that he'll just, like, go by, like, over and over again and just, like, cover, like, this every specific thing.
He
So,
is a
I don't know.
perfectionist.
He's a perfectionist, so that it really shows on the fucking screen. So,
Yeah.
I'm curious how this would hold up on rewatch, and I don't know if I'm gonna
Mm.
watch this at home because I feel like the Avatar movies just lose a little bit of magic the second you're watching at home.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I'll
so
try to. I'm gonna if I do have the time, I'll try to. But it's a
It's a
very long movie to go to.
it's a lot to
yeah,
commit
yeah.
to. And
And
it
I wanna go on one quick tangent about James Cameron. So during Avatar, Fire and Ash, they, showed a trailer for Billie Eilish concert movie directed by James Cameron, and this fucking trailer is the most hilarious thing 'cause it basically is like Billie Eilish talking about her tour and, like, going on tour and be like, "I'm so excited for the fans, I'm so excited for the music, so excited for to hear it," and it cuts to James Cameron, "And we're gonna have the best tech ever filmed in a concert movie," and Billie Eilish is like, "Cool." That's it.
cool.
It's like this fucking freak. Like, all right, cool. Yeah, you have the cool tech. You in your little corner, James Karen. Like, just do this so you can have your specific camera you want to test out for this thing. You goddamn maniac.
I wonder why he was interested in Billie Eilish. Do you think it was the music, or do you
I
think it
think
was
his
something
kids were
else?
into him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't his kids be like our age?
I no, I think he has some kids that are like, I don't know, like 18, 19. But besides, people our age are into Billie Eilish.
I guess. I guess. Steve, what did you want to talk about? What movie
Well,
big shows came out? What did you watch?
but before I get into that tangent, the only reason why I said that Cameron is a better writer than director is if you just look on his IMDb and just see the repertoire of things he wrote. A lot of stuff for video games, but one of the things that stood out to me is that he did the screenplay for Aliens, the sequel to Alien. Did you know that?
Well,
He
he
directed
directed
it.
that too.
He redirected that. The
Hmm?
re-release. That was in there, but, it's just he has a larger catalog for things that he's written than the things he's directed. That's not to take away from the
Well,
stuff
it
that
is
he's
funny.
directed.
It is funny. The one thing you brought up was the movie that he directed too, and was his breakout directing movie. But like he did like co-write like Point Break, and he did
Yeah.
Strange Days, two
Oh, yeah,
amazing
he did
Catherine
direct
Bigelow
that. Look
movies.
at
Yeah, yeah,
that. I must have missed that. Rambo: First Blood 2 really threw me off for a loop as well. That was
yeah,
that
yeah.
was that's one he definitely didn't direct, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, why would they bring
Yeah.
him in on a writer for that?
All
But
right, Stranger Things. Let's go.
alright, so, hey, don't rush me there, Timmy, alright? I was getting to my point there. The only reason why I bring up those Stranger Things finales is because I went to a theater to see it, so,
Same. Yeah, same.
I did
yeah,
not, but counts.
Have you?
yeah,
Did you
no,
watch it?
as long
I
as it
did what
counts.
I have seen it now.
Yeah.
It's I had the inevitable. It felt like let's get it over with more than like I'm
Yeah,
excited to watch this. But Steve, go on.
Alright, so, I liked it. I'm with you on the PlayStation 2 graphics thing. I have a
yeah.
few
Oh yeah.
complaints. I'd like to talk to you guys about them. You ready?
All right. So spoiler section, real quick. Just drop that right.
Spoiler alert for it's all on social media.
I think you've all sort of seen it at this point,
If
but
you
if
care,
you
you've
still
seen it at
care,
this point. Yeah.
but if you don't care, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, I don't know, fast forward like 10 minutes or something.
not
Okay.
You'll
10
be done.
minutes, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Whatever.
10's for the timer. Yeah.
Anyways, so a few things I had a little bit of a problem with. Let's start with the fact that the whole spider fight scene was rushed.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot. That was supposed
Yeah,
to
There,
be like apart from the Vecna fight, that was supposed to be like a pretty big fight, right?
it's a thing that you bring up for 5 seasons, and like as like the big bad or the big creature or something like that, and then it goes down a fight where not a single character takes a hit from it.
Yeah. And the whole thing is like rushed. And they're just like, all right, like you shoot at it, we're gonna climb up that giant mountain, and then we're gonna throw things at it to distract it.
Yeah.
And then she goes, all right, I'll start right now. And she starts shooting at it immediately. I'm a fat guy. I'm not running and climbing that mountain that fast. You just you gotta wait. Like give me like, a couple of fucking hours to even get there, you know?
if we like, you can suspend disbelief in a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stretch that not like Like, there should have been one person that survived it.
Yeah,
Like everybody should have fucking died.
yeah,
Are you kidding?
not for
There
anything.
also the Will's coming out scene was longer than that entire fight sequence was, which is
Yeah,
just crazy.
But it makes sense of an emotional moment.
I understand that.
I do know what you mean, but and also like it seems like crazy that like yeah, I can at least suspend disbelief that there's gonna have some characters that are gonna have plot armor or whatever you get through. But the fact that not it wasn't like even a threat, it felt like it wasn't even a danger to the characters. They ran away, like no one actually took a hit. It would be one thing if like I don't know, if like they were all beaten up by the end of that fight or something like that, and like it took a lot out of them or something. When you watch a movie like I don't know, not to go like in the Marvel universe where you have like the first Avengers movie where they take hits and like there's one point where you think this might
They're all beat up at
yeah,
the
yeah,
end.
but there's action
yeah.
sequences, you know, and like the only
Well, no,
action sequence,
exactly.
you know,
But I'm saying like with this, it's just like they just ran over, they took it out, and like, oh, cool, that was fun. Well,
yeah,
whatever, let's go back.
and
So do you guys buy into the theory that tomorrow they're gonna drop the real final episode?
No.
no,
Have you seen this?
no,
I do know
I
what it is.
haven't.
Basically, there's a whole theory that apparently it's called the conformity gate, where apparently people are saying that there's some hints that the final episode wasn't the real final episode. It was instead like an image that Vecna beamed into the characters' heads to make them think that they won. And then tomorrow they're going to release a real final episode where it's just like the real stakes will happen, and then we'll see like characters actually like get fucked up or something like that. And
That would be the most insane thing to maybe ever like, you have this huge hyped up finale, and then you just drop, like, another hour or 2
Yeah, but that didn't
after the
happen.
fact. I
Like,
know it didn't happen.
no, 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 I'm
I
saying like that would be the director's mindset. Remember all this shit that you just watched? That didn't happen. Here's what actually happened.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
it would be worse. Like, it's cool
yeah,
the only instance that it's cool is in the 0.01% of your brain that goes like, I mean, maybe. Like,
right.
not like, "Oh,
yeah, yeah.
definitely, dude. Definitely Netflix just coughed up another $200 million for another episode of Stranger Things." Just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, yeah." But yeah,
But
Stranger Things 5, no stakes, for anybody. Too many characters, way too bloated, way too long. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
it looked visually, it was horrendous. Like, I don't know what
yeah, yeah.
happened there. It looked like TikTok lighting. It was just awful.
as far as like
Um
the like storyline goes, I'm happy with how it ended
The
because I don't.
epilogue was nice. The
Yeah,
epilogue was
Yeah, the
very
epilogue
nice.
was good.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
nice. I wouldn't even call it good, I would just call it nice. Like, it was
yeah.
pleasant, it
yeah.
was people pleasing, it
I,
was
lo- I, lo- I
exactly what it
Well,
needed to be.
I think about the characters dying real quick in the theaters. I want to mention this when, like the scene where like you think that Steve Harrington's gonna die and like he falls off the
Cuts to
thing.
black. Oh
It cuts
god.
to black. The girl right next to me in the theater, let's say next to me, was crying her eyes out and just like couldn't like deal with it whatsoever. And she was like, just like, no, no, no. And it's made me think of this thing where I was like, I think that's a reason the show that became too popular to the point that they are too afraid to like have any balls whatsoever to kill off a character. It's just like they just can't do it now because then like the girl next to me would probably be inconsolable for the rest of the screen if that happened, if Steve Harrington died.
There's also, they keep adding characters, like, they added the fat kid, and they added the sister to, the sister had been there, but not really, and they made her, like, this pivotal point, and it's just like
I heard that was because they were offering her a Netflix deal to like other shows, and this was like kind of her like big test. You know, they're like,
it
"We'll
That's
but
it.
it's just like I don't know, it's just like 10 people didn't need to be there, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just too bloated, and then you just have to, like, force stuff and just I don't
yeah."
know, it's one of those things where I'll think back fondly of that 1st season, and then I
Oh,
will
that first
probably
season's
forget
lightning in a bottle.
yeah,
First season's great. I think it still had some fun. I think the fourth was the second best season.
yeah.
I
Well, they
mean,
had the running up the hill moment, the Kate Bush
Yeah, yeah,
moment was, like, peak television, but
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I'll say this too. Like, I mean, I'm very proud of myself. I started the series at the beginning of December with the hype behind the last season, and I finished it just in time for the finale. And that's probably the fastest I've ever binged a show. So, I mean, overall as a series, I really did like it. But my last
yeah.
grievance that I'm going to say, and then we can move on, is that you're going to tell me that Max can fit through the little hole on the upside down. or could barely fit, but Derek just was like, "Yeah, no, he just goes through. No problem."
Don't
Right?
listen, it didn't happen on camera, so don't worry about it, Steve, okay?
No,
Yeah, yeah,
but
we're not gonna
I
go
am
in the
I'm
We're not go
concerned.
or
I'm concerned.
listen, okay, we're 30 minutes into this podcast. I'm gonna keep us moving here.
Keep it moving, Timmy.
I'm gonna quickly touch on Marty Supreme. I went and saw the ping
Oh,
pong
how
great
with
was
movie.
that?
Timothée Chalamet. It was fantastic, really good movie.
Fun, yeah.
Fun, great Chalamet performance, great. Kevin O'Leary performance was actually fantastic. Like they just
Y
cast him to be
Amazing
himself.
casting.
Just
Yeah.
cast him to be himself, and he was just a vulture. It was perfect.
Josh Shafty literally said, "We need an asshole, and you're a real asshole." And he's like, "Alright, okay."
So I'm going to I want to touch upon I broke the Safdie at least the Josh Safdie. The Smashing Machine seems very different from the other Safdie brother project, but Good Time, Uncut Gems, and Marty Supreme. Tommy, you were with me when we saw Uncut Gems at the Lincoln Center. We got an early
Oh,
screening
yeah?
of it. Yeah, and like that was like a blew my mind moment. Like nothing had
Yeah.
ever like felt like they perfected that like anxiety tension builder just perfectly, and it carries over into Marty Supreme. And I'm not even going to say one is better than the other, but I do think there's a magic to a Safdie brothers movie that the first one that you watch will be your favorite.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It just has that because like once you know that feeling because there's other movies that have anxiety and but these are like they just press down on your heart in a way that's just like oh my god, and they make you root for like slime bags, but they're so charismatic that you end up rooting for them anyway. It has all of that to it. That's all I want to talk about because we've been going on too long. We haven't even touched on True Romance. Safdie brothers, I know at least specifically Josh because he's the only one involved in all three. Good Time, Uncut Gems, Marty Supreme. I know your secret now. The first Safdie brothers movie that you watch will be your favorite, will be the best one because I went back and rewatched Uncut Gems. Oh,
Yeah,
ugh.
initial anxiety attack.
Oh my god, what a movie! What a Sandler performance.
It's the
Oh,
movie that
yeah,
made
yeah.
my dad actually like Adam Sandler because and I don't agree with him on this because I love Adam
That's
Sandler.
what's so and that's the enigma of Adam Sandler is like he make like 80% of what he makes is just dog shit.
When
It's
he
just
wants to try, he's
it's
great.
kooky comedy, man, but, like, you know, if you
It's
grew
not
up
even
on it.
kooky comedy, it's lazy like, look, the early ones are good when they tried, but, like, the
Oh,
late
yeah.
2000s to the after Click, everything he made onward in the 2010s was just
Very
garbage.
forced. Very forced
Just
by Netflix.
You
Yeah.
do have to respect the grift, though, of being like, "Yeah, I wanna travel to Africa. Hey, I've always wanted a movie with me and Drew Barrymore in
I've always
Africa."
wanted to go to
And
Hawaii for, like, 2 months. Yeah, let's, Nicole Kidman, would you like to take a vacation to Hawaii for a month?
No, alright, we'll get Jennifer Aniston, we'll do the same thing again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get
yeah, yeah.
whoever. Yeah, it's very much a ploy of, like, I'm gonna pay my friends to
Oh,
make these
yeah.
shitty movies, and then we're gonna go on vacation while we're doing it. And it's like, you know what? Like, I tip my cap to you, Sandler, for the slime bagginess, but I don't respect a ton of your work. But early Sandler slaps. Okay, so this is True Romance.
From the director of Top Gun and Beverly Hills Cop 2 comes a movie that will leave you breathless. Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken, in a Tony Scott film that critics are calling a Bonnie and Clyde for the 90s. True Romance. Rated R.
Okay, True Romance is the 1993 American romantic crime drama film directed by Tony Scott and written by Quentin Tarantino. It stars Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette with Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, and Christopher Walken. Slater and Arquette portray newlyweds who head to California with a stolen suitcase of drugs with the mafia in close pursuit and their future very uncertain. So, the first like 10 minutes or so of this episode, we touched on the beginning of this movie because of how like autobiographical this really felt for Tarantino, but then the rest of this is like drug fever. It also should be mentioned that like Tarantino did not direct this. Like this is a Tony Scott film through and through.
What combo? First of all, I mean, you have Tony Scott, who's like a great visual director and just like really knows the sense of colors and like sense of style and stuff like that. You have a Tony Scott movie, it's gonna be kinetic, it's gonna be fun. You have Tarantino who has like dialogue that just like fucking like bounce off the page. I think they're like little combination here together is really fun. It really works. And Tony Scott didn't even change much of the script here, which is shocking.
Well, he changed the ending.
He changed the ending, but then even Tarantino was like, "Yeah, it makes sense because Tarantino's ending was like, Clarence in Alabama, Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette were gonna die, and, they're gonna get, like,
Ah,
in this final shootout." And
I
then,
didn't know that.
like, Tony Scott changed it because he basically was like, "I just love these characters too much. I don't want them to die." And Tarantino's like, "Alright, yeah, that makes sense." The only other change really was that, Tarantino's script originally had this in, like, a Pulp Fiction type nonlinear way, where I was gonna, like, cut, like, different parts throughout the movie. I think it's better for the movie that this is linear. I wouldn't
Yeah,
like the nonlinear version.
that only works if it's a non-linear like story like that will really only work if it's a writer director combo where they just have that full vision in their head, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
how to lay that out and make the tracks of that work. Because like non-linearity can work, like Pulp Fiction proves that, but you need somebody to have that vision completely in their head.
Mhm.
I the way I look at it is like I look at Tony Scott as a director as like economical fun. I don't know does that make sense where I'm just like
I don't know what else he's directed, I'll be honest.
Uh, so
That's
to Steve, and for our viewers who don't know, Tony Scott is Ridley Scott's brother, and he is very much more the commercial minded of the two.
wow! Look at that,
And
okay.
Tony Scott did Top Gun, he did Beverly Hills Cop 2, he did Days of Thunder, he did Crimson Tide, Enemy of the State, Man on Fire, Deja Vu, and Unstoppable. So just like
Wow.
really fun kinetic action movies that are just like full of personality. Last Boy Scout 2 included in that. We talked about this when we covered Days of Thunder last year. I think if you told me on like in a Friday night, hey, we go see a Tony Scott movie, a Ridley Scott movie, and you don't tell me which one it is, I'd probably go for the Tony Scott movie. Like, I think that Tony Scott is much more consistent.
I agree with you. Well, Ridley Scott also just went on longer too, but they both come from commercial backgrounds. Both the Scott brothers, like they both came out, dir- came up direct. Well, they directed commercials. The Scott brothers did. Um, yeah, I would say, but Ridley Scott, his like high, like Tony Scott doesn't have a movie that touches Alien One.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the horror
You
movie,
know,
like the horror movies.
we're talking about like a perfect movie. Like that's a perfect movie versus Tony Scott. Like all of them are like you're going to have fun. Like, but
We just SWAT baited upstairs Steve's apartment.
yeah. I live by a hospital. I don't know what to
Oh,
tell you. It
shit, they're
happens from
after
Oh,
me.
time to time. But
The show must go on.
the show must go on.
we heard you have a bomb.
You're actually gonna get me SWAT raided
Yeah,
here,
no,
Tommy.
please
Are you
don't
kidding?
please
Are
don't
you
say the
kidding?
B word.
Don't say the B word,
Come on,
man.
Tommy.
You can
All
say
right, but
anything on this
sorry.
podcast, but you can't say the word bomb. Bomb,
Mm,
bomb, bomb, de bomb, de bomb, bomb.
bomb, ba, ba,
Yeah.
bomb, ba, bomb, da, bomb, bomb.
But no,
And
I know what you mean. We're like Tony Scott though, like it doesn't have the highs, but Ridley Scott has like just the more chaotic like chart where it's just like some are great, some are just like boring dog shit. But him and Tarantino, Tony Scott and Tarantino, I think is just a match made in heaven. I would have loved to see if he did another Tarantino script. Like the only other big like 90s Tarantino movie that other than Dust Till Dawn that he didn't direct was Natural Born Killers. And this movie and Natural Born Killers is Steve, have you seen Natural Born Killers?
I saw it once. I do remember enjoying it when I did see it.
So those are movies that like were written together, True Romance, and it was originally one script. The whole script was True Romance and like I forget what it was called originally, but they're basically going to be the whole one giant script of True Romance and Natural Born Killers. And then they decided to split it up and get it in there. Where it's like, okay, so I think that Oliver Stone ended up taking over. Natural Born Killers and rewriting it, and, like, Tarantino hates it, and it was one of those things that, like, I would have loved to see if, like, Tony Scott picked up that thread and was like, "Okay, like, let's be me like, quasi-spiritual sequel to True Romance. Let's go."
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I this whole movie was, gotta talk about the cast, first of all. I mean, like,
First, yeah. When we go down the cast, when we watch that trailer that we played at the beginning, first of all, like the amount of like people you hear in this movie, when like you tell someone they haven't seen this movie before, and you go, like, okay, so who's in the movie? So Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, who's playing Elvis, Gary
yeah,
Oldman,
I love that. I love
Brad
that.
Pitt, Walken, even Bronson Pinchot, Samuel Jackson shows up. And then, yeah, like even down further down the bench, you have James Gandolfini, you have Chris Penn, you have fucking Tom Sizemore, you have
Mm,
Kevin Corrigan. It's just like over and over again. Like all these guys are just giving great performances one after the other, just heat check after heat check. It's
of course
incredible.
not. Of course, yeah.
I mean, you have 2/3 of the Heat trifecta in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, really.
and not to point out the blatantly obvious here, fellas, but this was Tony Soprano before Tony Soprano, if you wanna talk about
He
Gandolfini's performance.
he literally was like he got cast as like Tony Soprano. He was because the casting director saw a short clip of him in True Romance and I was like, hey, why don't you audition for this new role of Tony Soprano that we want?
I mean,
And
right down to the voice. He
yeah.
literally just put on the Tony Soprano accent
So
for this
And
movie.
real quick on Gandolfini, because this is a movie that like literally like a lot of these guys we mentioned, this stacked cast, only have a scene or two. So then when you get to the point that like you end up introducing to James Gandolfini, who maybe has 2 or 3 scenes, and his scenes are hilarious. The fact that he walks in, James Gandolfini, his character's name is Virgil. He's a hitman that's going after Clarence in Alabama because they stole money from his
They stole
mob
the
boss.
drugs. They didn't steal money. They stole the
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
drugs.
so they stole the cook. And then James Gandolfini goes to a place that they think he might be, which is, the house of Michael Rappaport and Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is playing his stoner roommate, Floyd, who's just basically just like your stereotypical white boy fucking stoner with dreadlocks and everything. He's
You're
constantly just
you're a
getting high. Well, that's his whole
stereotypical Fish fan.
yeah, exactly. Um and then James Gandolfini and Brad Pitt are having a conversation. He walks into the house. Brad Pitt is like totally oblivious of what's happening because he's so stoned out of his goddamn mind. And
He invites him
he's
to
just like,
sit down. He's like, "You wanna hang
he
out, watch some TV, man?" Like,
watched some TV. He's watching the movie Free Jack, which is a terrible 90s movie starring Mick Jagger and Emilio Estevez. A sci-fi 90s movie.
oh
Awful.
god,
Which makes it even fucking hilarious. And he's like
I didn't
ripping a
catch that.
bong. He's like, and then Gandolfini's like, "So where are they?" He's like, I think they're over there." It's like, "Okay, they're off to races." And both those characters only have 2 scenes each, and yet it's some of the most compelling shit you see in this whole goddamn thing.
No, but that's what I love about this movie is that, like, the cast is absolutely full, but the amount of A-listers that are just, extra roles, are just very, very fucking, like,
They're
bottom of
just
the
scene
barrels.
checks. They came to set for a day.
Yeah.
Well, this is before he blew up, but this
This
like
is
Samuel
before Brad Pitt, and
Jackson.
this is before Brad Pitt and Samuel L. Jackson both blew up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and
like
Samuel
it's a
Jackson
lot
has
of
3
guys.
lines. And what lines? He's like, "Yeah, I ate the pussy, I ate the butt, I eat everything." And
That's
then
all he
dies.
needed. That's all he needed. And then his career took off straight from there. That was
Can,
it.
can I
Yeah.
can I just say, in a movie with this like stacked of a cast, like truly a stacked cast, we spend too much time with Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
We just
It's the
like
unfortunate thing.
it's the
Yeah,
unfortunate thing
yeah.
because he kind of like
I think you'd say that about the whole 90s.
Yeah.
he sucks as an actor. Like he's
Not a-
also an insufferable person.
He really
Like,
is. I don't like him.
he's
He's running for mayor.
He
Yeah.
has burnt every bridge that he has ever had, and now he is just like he's just like a mean, begrudging human.
Yeah.
But like he's someone with the ego of Tarantino, like we were talking about before, but without any of the talent. Like Tarantino can get away with that bullshit because
It's
like,
excusable. Yeah.
well, it's like, okay, you followed up True Romance with Jackie Brown, and then Kill Bill, and then you had Death Proof, which is like your folly, and then you come up with Inglorious Bastards, and then follow that up with Django. You go, you know what?
You can back it up.
You know what? All right, like yeah, he can talk. He can talk his shit.
He actually
can-
followed
he
it
can
with
talk
Pulp
like that, and
Fiction. Give
Rappaport-
credit where
Yeah.
credit's due.
Rappaport has the money, but just none of the talent or the charisma. So we
Yeah.
just unfortunately spend a little too much time with him.
And
He's
I-
the
like, it's
one
my
weak link in
biggest
the movie.
He's the weakest link in the movie. Like his performance,
Because this is a
cowers
movie
in-
where you have Gary Oldman doing the most insane performance of all time. Where
it's
basically
insane.
the whole
I had
the
no
whole,
idea
the whole
what he was.
performance is Gary Oldman is a white guy that thinks he's a black guy and acts like a black guy. That's the whole thing.
and he
And
pulls
he's
it off
doing, like,
beautifully.
He
But
falls out. It's amazing, and it's a movie. Like this is my second time watching it, and both times I always think that Gary Oldman's gonna have a bigger part in this movie because you feel his presence really a lot in this movie. You think that he's in throughout it, and then you're like, wait, he was only in maybe like 10 minutes at best.
the irony, of course, is that you have Michael Rappaport who's playing a struggling actor, and who is in fact a struggling actor who nobody wants to see. So
Yeah,
for that point, is he really even acting?
Well, that was the best part of his performance was the first scene we see him where it cuts to the maid from Two and a Half Men,
yeah.
like as a casting director, and which another like random heat check because she's like actually very good. Like she just like
She like
oh
randomly is like one of
yeah,
those actresses. She'll show up in like Edward Scissorhands for a scene or two,
yeah, and you're
and
just
shit
like
like
oh
that.
you're good, like you're good, like, and then you made your money with Two and a Half Men, like Godspeed to you.
Talk about staying in
Uh,
your lane.
she like he's like reading for whatever the TJ Hooker
T.J. Hooker
remake reboot
with
whatever it was, which novel
there's a
concept.
Shatner show.
I'm surprised some like executive hasn't rewatched True Romance and was like, you know what, we need TJ Hooker for the fourth time, and and just I am like, and then he gives like the worst performance of all time. Like he reads like 4 lines, and they're just like, wow, you're very good, you're very good. Thank you. We'll let you know. And I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, yeah, this tracks. And then he's just kind of there, like in a movie that this movie's very dynamic. It's I, it's a part of it. It's the allure of a Tarantino script, right? Like why do you think they got Christopher Walken, Dennis Hopper, Gary Oldman, Val Kilmer just playing Elvis for whatever
And
reason?
and
Because
Sean Penn's brother, Chris Penn, playing the cop.
Chris
And
Penn,
Tom
Tom
Sizemore is the
Sizemore,
other
like
cub.
they're
Yeah,
getting like, some of these guys weren't there yet, but like even someone like Brad Pitt, he was in Thelma and Louise, like he had done enough at this point to not just be the guy on the couch. I feel like,
Well,
and
that's why it's hilarious that he is.
but it's you get that script, and you're like, hey, they'll pay you half your rate. It's 2 days of work. And you go, yeah, you know what? I just want to be in this. And like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's how you attract somebody. Like that's the allure of this. And especially at a time when like it's like the postmodern Tarantino style that, this definitely borrows from it. It doesn't become central in Hollywood until 1994 with the release of Pulp Fiction, and it kind of just taking over and influencing Hollywood from that point forward.
To
So
point
like
out, like you have a whole period of just Tarantino ripoffs in the late '90s.
yeah, so, like, this idea is novel still to people in Hollywood, like, a kinda
Yeah.
script like this. Um, so let's go through the performances because I have one that I thought was the best performance, of the
Okay.
Heat Checks movies.
Yeah,
Who do
you
you
go first.
for me, it's Christopher Walken. When he comes in
Okay.
as the mob boss, like,
Yeah, well,
un
great one scene
un
performance.
unbelievable, and
And he's
when
technically not even the mob boss. He's just like a lieutenant or something like
he's
that.
like an underboss or something, and he comes in fully intimidating, like dressed to the nines in this shitty little trailer that Dennis Hopper is living in as the dad, and dude, the back and forth,
it's
like
incredible.
it's just when you watch two pros, just like
Oh yeah.
two legends of the game going at it, and you're just like, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, and then that scene where uh
They're both literally mocking
Dennis
each
Hopper,
other. Like,
well, when Dennis Hopper takes it too far
yeah,
and starts insulting the Sicilian.
yeah.
We'll leave it at that because that's probably the
Which as a
what's
as
if
a
we're
half
gonna do
Sicilian
what's
myself, he makes a lot of very good points.
if we're gonna but if we're gonna
He's
throw
going up.
into if we're gonna say what's aged the worst in the script, that's the
It-
scene that's
It's the
probably aged
Tarantino-ness
the
of it all, where
yeah, but
it turned.
you know what, he's thrown around hard R's quite a bit, but it's never. I feel like it's always been in service of something, or it's in Django's case, it's like, yeah, this is what they would call them on a
Yeah,
plantation,
no, it's a period piece, so they're allowed.
It's a period piece, and like the other ones, it's just like in casual conversation. This one felt very like
No, it's derogatory.
charged.
No, it's
Sorry.
Well,
Very, very directed in a way that I was like, "Whoa, okay."
yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
and
that's that mob
it
mentality where they wanted you like to feel the impact of that,
Well,
like
Dennis Hopper, like that was a suicide note. He knew he was gonna die, and he was gonna go
yeah.
out
yeah,
without
it's gonna go out
stabbing
like a
this
tough
guy
guy,
somehow.
of course.
He's like, "All right, fuck it. I'm just gonna mock this guy. Whatever. I'm dead already."
Yeah,
I also not to nitpick, but I'm going to nitpick.
of course you are, Tim. Go ahead.
So he shows up at the house. They're there. They like knock him out,
Yeah,
and they interrogate him. They want to know where Christian and Alabama have gone off to, right? Like they're looking for our two main characters. He won't tell them. And then he's like, okay, go to these people's houses, apartment, and see if you can find evidence. And then one of the goons is like, hey, it's right here on the fridge. Are you telling me they didn't scope the place first?
I guess not. They
Like
probably
how do you not
Yeah.
scope the place first?
because the
Like it's not a
Sicilians,
big place. It's not a big place.
the
It's
Sicilians,
not big.
they act on emotion. That's all it was. They just wanted to kick some ass.
I
The
get it.
Sicilians.
I get it. But also,
But they're really
Ha-
they're your rental-wise guy. That
yeah, they
you're
were a little
supposed to
bit
be
of a
fucking
rental-wise guy.
professionals. Professionals
But I
scope
do.
the place first, right? Rental-wise
I
guys, they shoot first and ask questions later.
But yeah, that's the only like nitpick in the script that I have where they're like they interrogate yeah, it's such a great scene, and then the answer is just hanging on the fridge in broad daylight,
Of
where
course.
they must
The
have
whole time.
because if you're waiting for 2 hours in this tiny little shitty trailer, you might as well look around, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's it gonna hurt? Maybe you rob them, like see if he's got anything of value. Like, maybe there's a ring or something. Pawn it for $50
If
or
the
whatever.
guy's dead no matter what, right? You might as well.
Yeah. Well, this is before he's dead. I'm saying they were there before.
No. But like, if they walk in there with the intention of killing him, you might as well. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
he was destined to die. But
Hmm.
that's just my only like
That's cool.
hole of the screenplay that I found was just like that felt too easy. Like because also if you're just
But
like
it
we
was-
need
it was
these
fun.
people's
It was
address. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the scene. I'm just being an asshole. Okay.
Of course,
Just
of course you are.
Let me.
No,
Yeah. The
but-
premise of the
but-
podcast.
But
The
it goes
premise
to
of the
show you.
podcast, let-
It goes to show you how that scene's entire purpose was to just have two veterans in Hollywood just going at it, letting them do their
It
fucking
was like
thing.
it was like
And
watching.
it was
It was
movie
like watching
magic.
Brady Manning. It was like watching Brady Manning. It's just like it was one of those games where you just like.
Yeah.
And
That-
what's
it's how it's supposed to
fantastic
be
is
done.
also that like you don't see Walken throughout the rest of the movie,
Yeah.
and Walken
Nope.
just immediately is, and again, it's just this other presence where like this is the dangerous coming after them. But I feel like in another movie, Walken would then be with the rest of the guys with Gandolfini and like
And he'll get
yeah,
shot
going
up.
to
And then he'll
LA.
get shot up.
Yeah,
in
it'd be in the final scene
'cause-
during the shootout, right?
Because even in the end of the movie, when you think about it, like at the end of the day, yeah, they're in Mexico, they flew to Mexico, but it's not like they killed every single person that's responsible for all the carnage they got in. There's still some like lingering threads out there. So in a
Yeah,
way,
but the
where
coke
like
blew up. At that point, what do you?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the trail has run cold
mean,
now.
there's a lot of
they were
coke.
just
To be
they
fair,
were just
there will be
following a they were just following a trail.
Yeah. So this is a point to talk about, but what do you guys feel about the central romance and True Romance? Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette.
I mean, it's just Detroit's Romeo and Juliet, and the original
yeah.
writing of the script definitely proves that. Considering I didn't know this going in that they both died at the original script at the end. You mean you're sitting here and you're telling me that is not fucking Romeo and Juliet just shot in Detroit? It's the exact thing, but then
Well, a little different because it's not like there's
definitely-
families involved.
and they didn't kill themselves, of course. But then Tony Scott comes in and he gives it the fucking Hollywood happy ending, which I definitely
well-
prefer. I like that
Well,
better.
so I think they're like kind of like almost meet cute thing, which is just really funny premise. So like this girl's like all of a sudden into all the stuff he likes and wants to go to the movies and like, oh my god. And then they go to the movies and it's like very sweet moment and then they have sex and it's like very romantic. And then she's like, yeah, actually,
very Top Gun.
yeah,
Tony
very
Scott
Top
likes to
Gun-esque.
shoot his lovemaking scenes with blue lighting.
blue.
Okay, he
Yeah, and-
loves that. That was my
Yeah.
first thought. I was like, Tony Scott, you did it again.
You madman. But then you get to the point where it's like, his comic book store boss hired a hooker to get him laid because, like, yeah, you always just talk about movies all the time and nothing else. It's probably something that Tarantino probably went through with like a friend trying to buy him a hooker. He's just like, "That'd make a good idea for a script." Like,
But
you know what this guy that knows a lot about movies needs? Some
Yeah.
fucking pussy.
Yeah.
do you guys? I always felt like she felt like she liked this guy enough and felt like she was in danger and was just like, "I love you."
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was the right time of tough guy, you know?
But then came to like I feel like the first time she actually loved him was when he went and killed Gary Oldman's character, right? Like
Mhm.
like that's the first time she's like, that was
Well, she
so
broke down into tears.
romantic, and she's just like in tears. Where I felt like the other one was like, whatever happened to her in her life, that she ended up being a call girl on the street. That was not her plan. She did it for like a couple days because she said this was her that Christian
4th
was her
client.
third or fourth client. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
very early on in her profession. She was looking for a way out, and I think kind of realized like this guy will take me in for sure. Like
Yeah.
this guy is not trying to kick me to the curb.
I think there's a part of it, but I think there's also like a little bit where like I think that she wasn't completely lying where she's like, yeah, but like I actually fell in love with you and stuff like that. I feel like there's like weird like energy that they both just radiate off each other that you could see.
They
Just
definitely
those
had that
scenes.
energy, but also it's her being naive, if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it just depends. If you've been in love before, you just kind of know it really doesn't happen that way. Like you hang out one night and you're just both like, I'm in love, let's get married the next day, like it does in the movies sometimes. Versus like if you're not in love and you're just like you've never been in love before, you're like that's aspirational. That's something I want to be too. So I'm coming from the former perspective that I mentioned of like having been in love before, and or being in love, and I just like that doesn't happen like that. Like I for
For
me,
sure.
it felt like the undertext of it was defensive. It felt
Mhm.
very like this guy, all he talks about is movies and and he works at a comic book shop. He ain't got a ton of prospects. Like, at least let me be safe here for now.
No.
Like, I think she was looking for a way out.
Is the funny like teenage boy fantasy thing of like Tarantino probably went through too. Like you think like, oh, like working at a comic book store or video store would be so cool to work there all day in media. And then you get to reality of like Christian Slater being like, yeah, I don't make a lot of money. It's
Right.
not really a thing right here.
Yeah, it's cool. I just get to hang out and read comic
Look
books
at
and
Spider-Man #1 on the wall and be like, "That's cool."
Yeah. But it
yeah,
also
and
begs the question, like, where does the whole badass part come out of it? You know, like, if I'm a
it's
comic
Elvis.
you know
Elvis is where the badass part comes out of it because he
Mhm.
wasn't a badass to
That's
that
what
point.
makes it make
But
sense, right.
that's what makes it make sense is when he goes and confronts the dealer. When he's like in his insane mind, he's like, you can't stand with this guy living. Like what he's done to her.
Yeah.
You
Breathe in
need to
the
take
same
care of
air.
it. And he does. And I mean, it's what kickstarts the whole thing. But like, that's the moment they're truly in love. Like
Yes. That's the one that's when it
that's
kicks
when
off,
it act
and it
like the
becomes
love
real.
actually kicks in, and it's for most of the movie. And
That's when
it
it
goes into
becomes true romance.
that's when it becomes true romance. It's not just this like meet cute, like we were in love at first sight. Like I feel like she was, to my point, just looking for a way out and was like, this guy.
Yeah. But regardless, I think both of them are just such fun magnetic performers where you just fall
Oh
in love with the
yeah.
characters when they go on. I mean, how do you guys feel about Christian Slater and his
He
career in
was
general?
this was the best Christian Slater performance I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
This
you
is
know,
probably his apex.
I
Yeah,
wanted to save
easily.
this for who's the star of the movie, but I mean, not for anything. This is just a more hardcore follow-up to his role in Heathers, if you think about it. You know, like
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just how can we take my page out of Heathers and instead of making me the fucking school shooter type, make me this badass fucking comic book nerd type, but take a little bit of a page from that movie, but then, you know, exacerbate it into this one because, you know, you have to. It ends up making sense because then they end up running away. It's the exact type of comfort that Patricia Arquette needs in a male to get out of, you know, this life that she sort of built for herself. And it ends up just kind of like, you know, taking the reins and going from there, which is what I love. This whole movie is just go, go, go. start to finish.
It has, like, slight bones of a road movie, in that aspect where, like, you do see characters, that come in and out and just, like, they meet up with this weird person and they meet up with this weird person, but it just, like, constantly gets you great. I mean, even you have, like, one guy off the bench of, like, Bronson Pinchot, who is, Tim, remember Serge in Beverly Hills Cop, like, the effeminate, like, gay guy that worked at
Yeah.
the art
Mhm.
store? He's in this, and he's fucking hilarious. The one scene he has where, like, the cop comes behind him and he has the bag of coke, and he's trying to tell the call girl or whoever he's with, like, "Hey, can you, like, hide the coke for me?" And she refuses to do it. It's just
Yeah,
hilarious. It's a great little aside. This movie just builds out so many, like, little great tiny scenes for, like, 2 scene characters. That's just so much fun. But and all of a sudden, the coke's all over his face. It's like, okay. At that point, you know you're fucked.
that's literal.
Like
That's literal egg on your face. I mean, that's slapstick comedy at its finest. You know.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like also with this movie, like, in particular, like, it like, you have so many heat check performances, but that Patricia Arquette, Christian Slater, like, dynamic needs to be there. I mean, Christian Slater even said he was like that him and Patricia Arquette had a fling briefly
Oh yeah.
when they were filming this, yeah, and he said, like, when they were doing the lovemaking scene, he was like, "I didn't even I was so out of it, like, I was so in the moment, like, I didn't even realize there was a crew there, I didn't realize there was cameras there, like, I was just into that
That's
moment."
interesting because I actually thought about that during one of the scenes. I believe it was when they were in Michael Rappaport's apartment. They were talking about plans on how to boost the coke. They're just sitting on the bed making out, and it felt very
They make out
natural.
the whole movie,
I know,
like,
but like you're
They're
thinking
like that
about it.
annoying couple you know in high school.
Yeah, but, like, that's the thing is that, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder if that was in the actual script or if that was them acting naturally. It seemed very, very natural to them, just like, they're sitting there just kinda, like, making out, kissing, and then, like, Michael Rappaport's talking in the background, like, "How the fuck are we gonna do this? There's no way that I know anybody that's gonna take this
so
amount of
what
coke in one shot," you know?
that's when they're at the Safari Inn.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not even his house, right? But, regardless, that like, it seemed very natural, so that does make sense that they did have a little bit of a fling in the middle of it.
Yeah. And in terms of also, like, heat checks right here, I mean, this movie is a lot of the discussions can be at the performances because there's so many to talk about. But
Why don't we cut ahead? Why don't we jump
yeah,
ahead here?
I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Alright, who is the star of the movie? Who is the star of the show? I feel like this is just, like,
We just talked about
heat
it. It's Christian
the
Slater.
heat check
well,
monument.
but there's so many to talk about, and I do want to touch upon real quick. I watched Boogie Nights again recently.
Mm. Did you get the 4K?
Yeah, I did get the 4K for Boogie Nights. I rewatched it like a couple weeks ago, and then my girlfriend like sat in for the last 30 minutes, and she never saw the movie before. And then when the scene came in the end of the movie, when Mark Wahlberg pulls out his dick and says, "I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star," she's like, "That's what that segment from your podcast is from." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah."
It's a
The movie's
multi-purpose
amazing.
meaning, if you think about it. Who's big
I was like,
dicking it in this movie?
yeah, yeah. So, but anyways, to go back to True Romance, I was about to talk about him before we cut to the segment, but Saul Rubinek just basically playing up like Joel Silver and other like Hollywood producers. He is so fucking funny. The other thing,
Yeah.
and like the whole overacting. He has like, I thought you were like a son. Like I treated you like a son. Like that overacting, like right there immediately. It's like
Yeah.
the rewatch was took it from, but he's just amazing.
Solid
little thing. And
honorable
this-
mention for sure.
I mean, Bronson Pinchot too, just as Elliot was like he's
Yeah.
just this little weasel. Like you could just
Yeah.
tell immediately this guy's a weasel.
Especially in the elevator
100%.
scene
Oh yeah.
where he's
Oh,
literally crying, like, "I just want someone to save me. I just want someone to save me," as if
well,
he's
he's clearly
begging the
telling
cops to save.
he's just
Yeah,
begging the cops to come in.
yeah,
I do love that Christian Slater like it's like gives him a hug and doesn't feel the wire.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Can't
I
notice it at all.
very lucky.
But that scene is this great sense of tension, the way that Tony Scott cuts between everything, and the guy in the cop room is like, "This guy's a fucking pussy. He can't handle this at all."
I, I feel like we didn't really like of all the performances we talked about, we didn't really talk about Patricia Arquette, which is
She
just
is really fun. Yeah,
it's very different from what I pictured from Patricia Arquette because I've seen a lot of her stuff, and especially in the early '90s, she ends up being like love interest. Like I'm thinking Ed Wood particularly, where she just
yeah,
like shows up in the second half as the love interest. And like this is just there's just such a there's like a babyish innocence to
Yeah.
her,
Well, she's the girl that
despite
every guy wants, you know?
well, well, she has that
That charm about her.
well, she has a charm, but like the character itself is like because it comes from the character, right, and the performance in tow. But she is it's there's something about her somehow maintaining some shred of innocence despite us knowing she has lived a hard
Yeah. Well,
life. Like,
you know what the best example of that is when she walks in on, James Gandolfini sitting in a chair holding a shotgun at the hotel, and they have a full-blown conversation without her even batting an eye. Just like, "Oh,
yeah,
hey,
because
how you doing?"
it's clear she's seen shit. You know, it's
Yeah.
very clear that she's
Mhm.
like
Those are some fucked
despite
up
her
3
having
days.
this like this I don't want to call it femme fatale, but it's almost like there are men that are very attracted to like women that put on the baby persona, that put on like the younger girl persona. Oh, take care of me. Like there that is a thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like this is very much in that vein where it's like, "Oh, Mr. Strongman, open this jar of pickles for me," but to like, "Hey, can you go kill my pimp?" And I just I feel like her perform like being able to thread that line is very, very hard to do, and, like, 80% of the time, she's in that, like, innocence mode, but, for example, like, you s I think that scene with Gandolfini, like, where I think she's the star of the show, I think she gives the best performance, is
Mhm.
like, that scene with Gandolfini is incredible, where she's trying to keep that strong like, she understands what's going on. She understands, "Okay, there's a
Yeah.
guy sitting
She's
here,
not
and
playing
he's
dumb
here
at all, but,
he
like
he's here" well, no, she's playing dumb to him. But
yes.
she
She
knows what's
knows what's
going on,
happening.
but
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
it's like it's a veiled confidence that she's just kind of holding in. And
Mhm.
and just keeping
That's a good way
that
to describe
line
it.
there, like, keeping that veiled confidence alive. But yeah, that's probably the best way to describe her character. It's a
Yeah.
veiled confidence, and using that persona as a confidence booster to maintain relationships is the way to go about it. But I mean, he beats the hell out of her in that scene, and she doesn't break at all.
Nope.
Like, she doesn't tell him where
No.
it is.
Nope.
And even like, the when they pick her up and, like, she has the concealer on, she's doing all the makeup, like, "Oh, how'd you get the black eye?" And she just plays it off immediately where, like, she's like, "Oh,
Let's
yeah,
play
it's fun downstairs."
basketball.
Like, yeah, playing basketball, hit me in the face or whatever, and she, like, doesn't even bat an eye to the point that, like, you realize, like, yeah, this is not the first time something like this has happened to this
Yeah,
character.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
So I do agree, I think she's a very strong performance, and Brad Pitt, again, just, like, 2 scene heat check as the stoner roommate, to the point that Judd Apatow was like, "This would make a great movie if this guy was the main character," and that's where Pineapple Express came into fruition. Like,
Is that
that was
right?
it. He
so,
yeah.
can I just say, like,
Mm.
Brad I feel like the magic of that character is the fact that it is, like, watching back
Sparse.
on it well, no, that it's Brad Pitt, like, you're watching and you're just like, "This is fucking Brad Pitt." Like, one of the biggest movie stars of all time,
Yeah.
just being this stoner character. But I do feel like in small doses, a anybody could be the stoner character. You
Mhm.
know, like, it's not I don't think it's that demanding of a role.
Even Tommy could be the stoner character.
But the whole thing that, like, when, Brad Pitt said, his second scene where, like, he was getting interrogated by all the different mobsters. Brad Pitt's character was so stoned that he said, like, he was like, "I wanna make it look like my character's on a game show," and that is how he's answering the, mobsters back and forth, where he just didn't know
Yeah.
what was going on, and he's like, "Come on down, oh,
Yeah.
got this one,
Do
I
you know
think it
where he
was,
is?
over
Yes.
there."
Yes, I do.
Also also, we didn't really touch on Dennis Hopper. I feel like we need to give him his flowers too,
He
like,
absolutely
as the
does.
father, like, he was
Very good
fantastic.
father
Like,
figure
You
role.
see a little warmth as the father, even though, like, he had, like,
their
a little bit of
distance.
separation.
But he
Yeah.
has his concerns in the beginning. Like, I mean, if you think about it, Christian Slater tells his story and he's like, "What are you fucking nuts?" Immediately, just as any father really would. But good news is he's a cop and he can run background checks on people. And it's like oddly quickly dismissive of the fact that his son just killed a pimp. But, like, having said that, that makes you kind of like him more as a character because it's like, yeah, he's agreeing with the right thing even though he is a cop. He's still standing for justice, even if it is, like, vigilante justice, let's call it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we talked about him earlier, but Gary Oldman, I think that is a performance that like you think is just throughout this movie, even though he dies pretty early on. The
Yeah.
point that, like I was shocked. I forgot that he died so early on. I was like, wait, is Gary Oldman not like in this movie throughout? And it's just such a manic, wild, insane choice where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna speak in like a Jamaican accent. Like it's like almost like borderline like blackface in a way where it's like teetering on that edge. It's just that fucked up where it's like, but it
It was
somehow works.
very close. It was very
Yeah,
close. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call it blackface, but
No, no, no.
I'd call it accurate to a white
a
guy that
certain
thinks he's black.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
call
It's
and
what
that's what I would
inspired
call it.
Malibu's Most Wanted. The only thing that the only thing that I could say as far as that's concerned is the dreadlocks just being on point. You know, he fucking
They,
wore
they,
it
they
well
are,
and he spoke it well.
but it's a thing that like you're disappointed that he dies so early in the movie because like you just want to see more of this insane performance
But that's
going
the
on
thing,
and
like
on
a
throughout.
lot of this movie is just full of fucking A-list actors that just all had very
Where it's
short
like you can live
performances.
in so many different worlds in this movie, and just like I would totally see just the Brad Pitt movie where he's stoned on his couch constantly, and different mobsters are coming in. It's just like a rotation. It's like a SNL sketch where it's like a rotating like mobster coming in and asking different questions, and he thinks he's on the game show every single time. Just extend it over and over and over again. Where like a guy has a bloody body, he's still too stoned to fucking realize it.
Well, yeah,
Val Kilmer, good Elvis impression.
yeah,
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 pretty
I
solid.
get
and it's fun that you don't really see his face. I like that how they
yeah,
shoot it. Where it's,
because I just kept like I saw him in the credits and I was like, oh, cool, Val Kilmer's in this, awesome. Like this is on his Heat run, and then I didn't put it together that he was Elvis, and then I saw his name like in the final credits, and I was like, who
Yeah, they
was Val Kilmer was in this? And I look at him like,
mentor they
oh.
called him.
and what do you guys think about the Hans Zimmer soundtrack?
I
This is a
loved
Hans
it.
Zimmer
I
composed.
loved
Yeah,
it. Yes, this is Hans Zimmer,
Yep,
the just like
the wooden
the steel
glockenspiel.
drums.
No,
yeah, it's
the-
just it's perfect for this kind of movie.
yeah,
It makes it really work, and it makes it like you kind of like swallow the violence a little bit
It's
better, where it
it's
makes you feel like a
nice.
fairy tale.
yeah.
It's got that fairy like Caribbean fairy tale vibe to it.
Well, yeah,
But it's
that's where they
also
end
nice
up
to
too at the end of the
but it's
movie.
Yeah,
nice to like uh for someone like Hans Zimmer who's biggest film composer since John Williams easily, I would say.
mhm,
To and like known for a very like Christopher Nolan style score to have something so
goofy.
yeah, goofy, different, just kind of see his roots. And like I mean he did Lion King next. Like that was the next movie he did the score for. So, it's funny watching his roots coming up like that.
Well, it is funny because you watch so many like random like '90s thrillers, and all of a sudden it'll be like Pacific Heights, and it's just like composed by Hans Zimmer. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, it is. I'm sure if we watched a bunch of movies from like the 1950s and 60s, it'd just be like, this is composed by John Williams
Yeah, he was the Hans Zimmer of their time.
before he became John Williams.
Ah, are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
Fellas, does True Romance work as a Muppet
always does.
adaptation? Kermit and Piggy,
Yes,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
as
perfect.
Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette immediately. Yeah.
Thelma and Louise. Also, didn't mention this before, but this borrows a lot from Wild at Heart.
It
Oh,
does.
yeah, yeah.
The-
It does have a similar vibe to it. Yeah, yeah.
it borrows a lot from that
I
movie.
I wouldn't say that Tarantino was like lifting a ton from it because this is like
Okay, well,
within like
okay,
2 or 3
excuse me.
years.
Excuse me. Tarantino lifts everything.
Well, yeah, there's that.
It's very different, but he lifted. He lifts. Okay, he's a lifter, and that's okay.
He's a
He's
lifter
great,
of the obscure.
maybe the greatest lifter of all time.
That's true. I mean,
Tarantino.
well, you see like Kill Bill, especially Kill Bill movies, especially Volume 1, like some that are just taken from like different samurai movies he's seen. It's like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. He's
Yeah,
like a great curator of all that too.
he's arguably the greatest lifter of all time, and all movies lift. Like everything does. Like if you hear any director talking about the movie, they talk about 10 movies that they watched ad nauseum as inspiration for this movie. Okay, this is not uncommon. This is not like Quentin Tarantino's a thief, but he's a lifter.
Yeah.
He's a heavy lifter,
Of
okay,
course.
and he's
Well, it's
really
there,
good at it.
there's
But
there's a phrase
that
for it. You know what it's called? It's called stealing like an artist.
yeah,
That's
right there.
exactly what it
Well,
is.
but back to the Muppets, immediately, yeah, like Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette or Piggy and Kermit
And
immediately.
we just keep
That
Michael Rappaport as the only human.
Yeah, because he might as well be a Muppet.
Either that or
He's a real
Christopher
Muppet.
Walken.
I would keep. I think I don't. I think you just do this fully Muppet. I just think you cast the
I
Muppets
think
because
that'd
it's
be
all
great.
men. It's all men anyway, and there's a billion men Muppet. Like I don't think you'd need a human in this one. I think you could just do this with Muppets.
I think the only human would be Bronson Pinchot, and that solves his nervousness even so much more. 'Cause he's surrounded by puppets. I just love to see like Kermit put a gun to his Bronson Pinchot's head.
Bronson Pinchot?
and Bronson Pinchot would like just sell the terror so much more. Where it's just so ridiculous. He's that scared by a puppet.
I left you like a son. They have it like be Ernie or some shit. Like be the director.
Would that be
The
Sam?
Muppets. Do we do a special episode for the Muppet Show Return with Sabrina Carpenter? Because I'm very excited.
I think we should.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe we do a live stream. Maybe we try to do something. Like let's just try and do something. Even if it's just you and I talking to two people. Like let's do it.
I think people would join.
Yeah.
I'm down.
But
Or we
okay.
could do
Yeah,
a
man.
whole commentary. You watch the movie as it's going on. It's just
That's
us
what I
talking
mean.
over.
Like we'll watch it
Oh,
and we'll
okay.
talk about it as it's going on. Yeah.
Oh,
live.
okay. A little mystery science theater action.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Review time. Give me your score to 5. Tommy, kick us off.
All right, so Tarantino and Tony Scott is a great combo. I wish we got at least one more out of. And this movie is just so much fun, like chock full of great performances. We're scene after scene after scene, and almost makes a road movie, but in a way that's extremely compelling, really fun. And this is a movie that's very rewatchable because you just love the characters and you just love seeing like, okay,
This is getting added to the repertoire.
this I feel like would definitely be a cable classic back in the day, if they played a lot more
This
on
is a
cable.
TNT.
Where it's like, where like
banger.
you're like it's flipping the channels and you're like, oh shit, the Christopher Walken scene's coming up. Or like, oh shit, the Saul Rubinek scene's coming up. I
And then
got
you're
to stick
just
for that.
just watching the rest of the movie. Yeah, it has that quality.
Definitely. So I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5. I think this is a really fun movie. And I definitely want to rewatch this a ton now. I've seen it a second time.
Steve, upstairs Steve.
Yeah. Echoing Tommy, 4.5 out of 5 all day. I've been recommending this movie for the past year, probably even more for this reason alone. It has the cast, it has the story, it has the directing. It's a very easy movie to follow. You just, 1-2 punch it, just like Timmy's pantomiming over there. We're making it happen. Timmy, what do you think?
I'm 4.5 out of 5. I was sitting there. I never come into these with like I very rarely have the review ready. Sometimes I do. Usually when it's like a stinker of like my grade.
It's like the Evil Dead remake, and you're like, this is gonna be awful.
Well,
I never think about
like-
it until the question's asked to me. Just so you
Yeah,
guys
well,
know.
no, I like having the conversation and ruminating over what I want the score to be. Because like sometimes in the conversation, I find out I enjoyed something more than I maybe initially realized. Like I think that's a part of movie going. It's kind of the debate of like, should the Oscars be held 5 years later, right? Like that debate of like we bring all
Let
these
it
movies to
sit
the
for a
Oscars.
little.
There's like two movies that were actually popular, and the rest of them are a bunch of Oscar baity garbage. Like, hold them 5 years later. Let's see what's lived on. Let's see what's got some legs to it, and you get to actually have that debate. That's what I feel like this conversation is. 4.5. I mean, just this is why you watch a movie. This is why you go to the movies. Like, I need to go to the Belcourt Theater near me and be like, hey, can you guys do a true romance screening? Because like I need to see this in a movie theater. Like it's tailor made for it. It's why you sip a soda and eat some popcorn. It's just fun. Like there's more to it than just like some action movie. It's really fun. It's incredibly compelling. Great performances. 4.5 out of 5. Great movie. Great way to kick off our 5th season.
Yes.
Steve, thank you for joining us. Where can the people find you if they want to find you?
Well, for those who have been listening for a very long time already know where they can find me. But if you don't know, you can definitely find me on Instagram. You can find me at big_mooch. That's MOOCH821 if you want to follow me there. But if you want that raw, you want that uncut, you want that Steve upstairs Muccioli that you don't see on the podcast, but you get like a little taste of on the podcast. It's kind of there. You just get a little nibble of it, but you know that there's way more in the bigger
If you really
picture.
want your foot in the door,
Yeah, you want your
for example.
yes, if you want a Steve that's keeping you on your toes, we're not pussyfooting around here. You could go on SMUCC6 on Snapchat, and then you can see what I'm all about on there. I really don't post on Snapchat as much anymore, but if I know you and I like you, you might get a little slip in there, you know, and it's not going to be anything sexual as
He
much as
sends feet pic on there.
I don't.
Yeah, strictly.
I could make money off of that if I really wanted to, but I'm not.
Everybody says that.
No,
No,
but
they
I could. No, but I know I could.
Also, I do want to touch upon.
Yeah,
I do want to touch upon. You can tell that this is not a Tarantino directed movie because there's no feet
There's no
shot in
feet.
this.
I know.
That's why Steve gave it a 4.5.
I know. It would have been a 5 if Patricia Arquette took her shoes off at any point, but she didn't. Yeah.
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 Do I need to repeat that for those
No.
at home? I think they got the message.
Yeah, we got the message.
Message
So, one
received.
final thing on this movie.
What else?
If you're wondering why Tarantino did not direct this movie that is so autobiographical, he sold this movie so he could fund Reservoir Dogs. So,
No, Reservoir Dogs was first, was it not? It says from the creator.
Yeah,
of
but he
Reservoir
sold the
Dogs.
screenplay for the money for the budget.
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah.
A little nugget for everybody there. Tommy, tell the people where to find us.
Yeah, you can find us at SCENEIT Pod. That's on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We're also on Blue Sky at podsceneit.bluesky.social. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us out, helps us grow the show. And, this is going to be our 5th season. We're entering year 5 of the podcast, which is insane. Thank you guys for listening. We're starting off with a banger. We're doing Darkman later this month, so get ready for that. And we'll
We
have
are?
a bunch of other great ones in. Yeah. Sam Raimi. New movie coming out. We got to cover one of his movies.
Interesting.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We will see you next time.
Goodbye.